Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I wanted to talk to you about the legacy of Modern Warfare. The gameplay you're going to get to see is mostly me sniping in Warzone. I very rarely snipe because I'm usually on a team full of great snipers that all hyper-focus on people in the distance, so it's my job to watch everybody's back. But I wanted to change it up a little bit and snipe a little, and this is kind of like my baby steps into sniping. I do it so frequently I really don't know what I'm doing, so you're going to get to watch me kind of learn as I walk through shooting people here. Today's video is about the legacy of Modern Warfare. I thought it would be a great time to talk about it because Modern Warfare Season 4 is just around the corner, coming eventually. It was delayed slightly for the Black Lives Matter movement. The Call of Duty Black Ops or Cold War or Black Ops 5 or whatever it is that Treyarch is working on is already starting to leak, and there'll probably be an announcement relatively soon. I thought about doing a state of video, like State of Call of Duty with exclusive Ace, but this seems more appropriate given that Modern Warfare, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, is in the last stages of its main game lifecycle. Now, it will continue to be played for a while, but it won't be the main game. It won't be getting massive updates or the focus. And the game has actually been out for 9 months now, which just sounds crazy to me. Even earlier than that for the people that played the 2v2 gunfight or open betas, and it's been over a year for me since I first got to play the original alpha at the Infinity Ward Studios. We have definitely had time to fully judge the game, and even now today I still get, hey Drifter, what's your opinion of Modern Warfare? What's your opinion of this and that? Which is slightly grating, to be honest, but it's a fair question. And I think that now is the best time to answer it because Modern Warfare has reached its final form. I don't think Modern Warfare has any more tricks to pull out. I don't think it can level up again and become a stronger boss. It's pretty much shown what it has, what it can deliver. There's no new massive mode like Warzone that's going to come out and completely drop like a bombshell and change the game. What you see today is pretty much what you have with this product. So, opinion time. I think that Modern Warfare will be viewed positively when we look back on it. And I know that's going to be controversial in the comments because, Call of Duty's a, we'll say, excitable community that isn't very often positive. But I legitimately think that Modern Warfare is going to be viewed as a turning point for the entire Call of Duty franchise because after years and years of annoying space shooters and going back into the past and weird things that people didn't want, we finally got a modern military shooter, and that's been fantastic. But on top of that, the important thing is that Infinity Ward gave us crossplay and united the community in ways that was never before thought possible. Despite having to deal with PC hackers and lag and crossplay disadvantages, mouse and keyboard, resolution, frame rate, whatever, this was still an extremely positive choice because I can not just play with some of my friends that happen to have the same system, but I can play with all of my friends. As an example, for me as a creator, I do open lobbies with my fans very frequently on Mixer. Shout out to myself on Mixer. If you want to come play games with me, you should join some sub lobbies. I linked it down there below. But in the past, I would have to do, okay, well, we're doing PC tonight, or you can join only if you have PS4, join only if you have Xbox or whatever. But now anybody can pop in and out. It's one of the most accessible games on the planet, right up there with Fortnite, which is just fantastic. We got a game that promised no paid DLC and actually kept that promise. There was no $60 season pass to get the new multiplayer maps or zombies, or in this case, co-op experiences. None of that. Those things have gone the way of the dinosaur. We didn't get any loot crates. They got sent back to straight to the lowest pits of hell where they deserve to be, thank goodness. No more RNG, no more gambling, no more addictive, low odds kind of stuff. We got a really good and straightforward battle pass system, though to be fair, we did get a really good and straightforward battle pass system with Black Ops 4 until they broke it by putting in loot crates. You got a very straightforward fixed price buy what you want system. Everything, it does come in bundles to be fair, but it's a fixed price bundle. If you want this gun or this character, it's $15, $10, $5, $20, $25, whatever. And you can just choose whether to spend that money or not. They're all cosmetic. They don't affect the game whatsoever. And you don't have to kind of gamble for them. Warzone, definitely the most popular of the modes on the game right now, is 100% free to play and came out for everybody with no pay to win mechanics, which is a mind-blowing. I will admit that it's easier to level up guns in multiplayer, but you can still be a free to play Warzone player and level up everything fine. You just have to grind for it a little bit more, which is fair. Call of Duty has literally never been this consumer friendly. Even if you go back in time to like Modern Warfare 2 or 3 or Black Ops 1 days, you still had to pay at least for the DLC maps and then skins and stuff on top of that sometimes. Like, there's never been a friendlier system for Call of Duty, and especially not in like the last 10 years or so. We're doing quite good on that front. I mean, it's so amazing. I honestly can't believe this happened. I spent years on this channel criticizing Activision and individual game developers and publishers, criticizing not just on this channel, but in person, like talking to developers and Activision people face to face and telling them that these are bad ideas and trying to speak for the community. And then the community, blames me and other YouTubers for everything that goes wrong regardless. But finally, after years of complaining, I got what I wanted, and I got a very consumer-friendly game. And the best thing about it is that Infinity Ward was rewarded for these decisions. They had an outrageously high amount of DLC sales, according to the public statements. Player numbers appear to be incredible on the game all around. Modern Warfare, or at least Warzone in particular, is still a very successful and bumping game right now on YouTube and Twitch and Mixer and everywhere, which is unusual because most Call of Duty games come out in October and they are dead by February. Once February rolls around, there's almost no point in me making videos. I just make kind of whatever I want and go on vacation and don't think about it. But this game has kept me busy all year round. Now let's talk about some specifics here, now that I'm done gushing about how good the consumer friendliness is. And that's that I think the campaign for this game is spectacular, and I think it's going to be viewed as one of the best campaigns that Call of Duty has ever produced. It's realistic, it's intriguing, it showcases the horror of war in ways that most games tend to try to avoid, like the Clean House mission. It has lots of special operator missions, so you feel like a tactical unit and not just like a guy stuck in a big swath of explosions. It has just a generally good story with good acting, graphics, cutscenes. And I think it's also very cool that you play through Call of Duty versions of real-life events, like the Embassy mission is supposed to be an exaggerated version of Benghazi, but that's fun, that's new, that's interesting. When it was first announced, Infinity Ward is like, this isn't a sequel, it's a reimagining, we're going to do things a little different, the characters will be a little different, this and that will be a little different, and they made a lot of promises that it would be cool and it would be great and well handled, and the community was skeptical, but I think that the team was able to keep their promise, and they really reimagined Price for a whole new generation of players. And I think that people 10 years from now, when they're talking about Call of Duty and its campaign and its characters, that this campaign is going to come up very frequently. And I think even 10 years from now, when Chaos X Silencer does another list of top 10 Call of Duty campaigns or whatever, this will probably be on there too. Now, Spec Ops, on the other hand, is an abomination, and its legacy will all but be forgotten very, very soon. The idea behind the mode was great, it just never panned out. I played it in alpha and I thought it was really cool, but by the time it hit final launch, it was super buggy and incredibly hard. Lots of the missions weren't really completable because objectives would just kind of glitch out depending on what you would do, and there was no rewarding gameplay either. You would just get wave after wave of enemies that spawn right around corners, that come in from everywhere, that just kind of lock onto you and hose you, and juggernauts, and more stuff that you could ever hope to kill. It was a complete mess. I tried to like Spec Ops. I tried to like this mode and enjoy it and promote it, but it was not only painful, but boring and painful to play at the same time. Infinity Ward has improved it, they've made it easier, they've added more modes and missions, but it's still kind of the same thing. If you slog around, you march here, do this thing, guard this thing, while enemies spawn in little closets and around corners, and it's pretty boring in my opinion. I think that Spec Ops will be forgotten, because very few people play it, and when people talk about Modern Warfare, they're going to be talking about other things related to this game, and generally I like zombies better. Now for the main course today, let's talk about multiplayer. Multiplayer for Modern Warfare will probably be remembered as good ideas and bad executions. Not just the executions in-game, but the executions of said ideas. I think that the weapon design, balance, and customization that's available in this game is nothing short of the best that Call of Duty has ever had in the history of ever. I think that the streaks, the executions, the tacticals, a lot of the base mechanics of climbing and headshots and how flinch is handled and knee sliding, mantling, and a lot of things like this are all good or very good. But multiplayer begins to struggle under the weight of the maps, which have highly variable quality and quite a few bugs. The bugs I could probably do an entirely different video on, but every patch there's new weird bugs, there's new glitches, there's new exploits, there's new something, some weird little thing that we have to deal with, and that was quite annoying while I was playing multiplayer. And the launch maps for this game were rough, excluding Ground War and 2v2, but the base like 6v6 maps were very, very rough. Some of them were exceptional maps. Some of the maps in launch were fantastic. What's a good one? Hackney Yard was a great map, still is a great map. And some of them were like really cool, and we had night maps and a few things, but then others were just these big, cluttered, confusing mazes full of dark corners and head glitches and impossible power positions. And yeah, I mean, it was realistic in its irregularity, but it just wasn't fun to play, because when you have such extreme power positions and dark lighting and stuff and bad spawns, which is an entirely different problem, the spawn system wasn't, and in my opinion still isn't very good, but it encouraged campy behavior. It encouraged people to sit in the dark corners, to use the claymores and mines, to play very slow, to head glitch, to mount, to play very conservative. And the maps more or less created an environment where this was the best strategy. So unless you want to play this like a milsim shooter in TDM or something, you don't have a lot of other choices. I'm not the biggest fan on some of the points that were chosen for dom points or S&D bomb sites. I don't do that too often, but some of my friends do, so I'm familiar with the problems with that. And regular multiplayer, it was fun for a while. You know, I had a good fall. I enjoyed it for a couple of months. And then kind of about the time In Depth was wrapping up, it was starting to get annoying. It was getting boring. It was getting grindy and frustrating. Quite a lot like Black Ops 4. I was pretty sure that I was burned out. But thankfully, the Ground War mode was amazing. Ground War just absolutely crushed 6v6 multiplayer. I thought it was really well developed. I think it put Battlefield 5 to shame. And I played the ever-living crap out of Ground War on this channel. You guys saw a lot of it on In Depth, and I honestly loved it. Ground War let me do things that I had never done in a COD before, despite there being Battle Royale for Blackout. We had skyscraper battles, we had tanks, we had choppers, we had these like crazy parachute attacks. There was a lot of really cool stuff going on in Ground War, and that was my bread and butter mode for In Depth. That's where I went to level weapons, that's where I went to get gameplay, that's where I just went to have fun, to play this game, to screw around. Ground War was, I tried to do so many helicopter tricks. And in my opinion, when people look back, people in the future look back and reminisce about their favorite parts of Infinite Warfare, when they're in the Zoom calls with their friends because we have another pandemic going on, and they're talking about, hey, do you remember we used to like get together on Wednesday night and play this game and blah, 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 and you know, they'll talk about Modern Warfare. Most of the good things they're going to talk about are going to be from Ground War, and most of the dumb things they talk about are going to be from the base multiplayer. I think Ground War will be remembered very, very fondly. And moving into the last topic today, I also think that Ground War will be remembered, not Ground War, Warzone will be remembered very, very fondly. Warzone saved Modern Warfare from itself. Modern Warfare was getting stale, boring, irritating, new bugs, same gameplay on new maps. Before Warzone came out, I was already back to playing Apex. I was playing teamfight tactics. I was playing around with Siege and stuff like that again because it was getting old. And then out of nowhere, Infinity Ward dropped a free-to-play battle royale on us that is, in my opinion, excellent. Now, I know I have some friends, J-Hub, if he's watching this video, that believes that it's so bad that all the developers should be fired, but I disagree. And I think a lot of you might disagree as well. It could be unpopular, but despite Warzone's many innumerable flaws that I could make videos about, it was still a very fun mode for me, and that's what mattered. It was still new, it was fresh, it's still fun and fresh and exciting. Warzone to me was like a better version of PUBG. It wasn't quite as COD-ish or easily accessible or cartoony as Blackout. It was a little bit more of a hardcore game, which did encourage some annoying camping on stairs and power positions and some goobery tactics, but it added a little bit more realism, a little bit more like PUBG, but with good gameplay. So I guess this year Infinity Ward killed PUBG and Battlefield. Well, at least in my heart. I loved the armor system they put in. I think the armor system in Warzone is superior to the one in Blackout. Blackout has a lot of things about it that's better than Warzone, but not the armor system, and that's a very important one. I ultimately do like the respawn mechanics. I like the gulag. I like buying teams back. I like the economy system they put in the game. I think that was a very smart choice for Battle Royale. And the memes from this are just top notch. Like the gulag is now just a mainstream broad gaming meme. Like Call of Duty is mainstream again because they talk about meeting up in the gulag and stuff. I see people talking about the gulag at the protests. I see people just on the street or friends just making gulag, like 1v1 me in the gulag jokes. It's really awesome that a game, not even the main part of the game, but just the system from the game is so popular and so well known that it's become a part of our general like lexicon. The executions made more sense in Warzone because you want to show off. The clutch plays really matter. I think the gas masks were an interesting idea, and I also like that the gas will kill you quite quickly without it. Warzone is a huge, popular, exciting game that requires a variety of skills from mechanical to decision making, and I think that's great. And I think that Warzone is one of the best Call of Duty products to be released this decade, and it was totally free. This mode is so popular that several months after its release, months after the main game came out, it still dominates player counts and viewer count charts on almost every platform. I mean, I'm probably going to be streaming Warzone almost every day for the next couple of months because it's that popular and it still has a lot of replayability left in it. So one of the big things when people look back and they talk about the legacy of Modern Warfare and what this game was or wasn't, and when people think about it, I think most people are mostly going to be thinking about Warzone. I think they're going to talk about the matches they had in Warzone, the clutch plays, that time they saved the team with the throwing knife. They won their gulag and came back with just a pistol in the last circle and won the game. There is going to be a lot of people that just love Warzone and talk about Warzone and play Warzone for years to come. So in summary, I think that the business model is going to be revered as a turning point for Call of Duty. I think the campaign is going to be remembered very fondly. I think that Spec Ops is so incredibly bad that it won't even be hated, that people just won't remember it because they didn't play it. I think multiplayer is going to be remembered as having a few good ideas, but being overwhelmingly mediocre or under-executing quite severely on those ideas. I do think that the exception of that is that people are going to enjoy Ground War, and I think that the bulk of this game, how it will be remembered, is based on Warzone. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.